Hi Desert Sun family, it's Teacher Kim and I have a book I want to share with you called Harold and the Purple Crayon. It is written and illustrated by Crockett Johnson. Now before we read the book, I want you to take a look at the cover and see if you can make a prediction on what you think might happen in this book. Who might Harold be? What do you think he's going to do with his crayon in this book? All right. He's already started to make so many different lines. It looks like a number 8 almost. And a little, he's encircled the title there. Now look at his lines. They're starting to go all over the page. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight, and he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost, and he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. He didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path, so he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. Now look at, he's starting to make wavy lines. What do you think that might turn into? Suddenly he realized what was happening, but by then Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and he thought the thought of the picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie, but there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. Do you see that there are 9 pies? See if you can count 9. Oh, yep, there are 9. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. What do you think he's gonna do with all that pie? Do you see what he's starting to draw? What do you think that might be? Let's see. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. What shape do you think he's going to make his window when he sees it? Oh. But he looked down over the other side. He slipped And there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. What could he do? What could he draw? But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. Well, there's all sorts of distractions now, a fly and the air conditioning. I hope you can still hear me. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. It looks like he's in a city right now. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. He walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then, suddenly, Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got in it and drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped to the floor and Harold dropped off to sleep. The end. So what you can do after since we've read the book, you might wonder what you can make if you took your favorite color crayon. I picked green because I really like green. And then I just picked a plain white piece of paper and I'm gonna start drawing lines and think about what I might draw or what story I might tell. Maybe I can make it go that way, make it go back around this way. It kind of looks like it could be a mouth. Maybe I can make some sort of creature and add some legs, and some feet, and an eye. Maybe I can just make some really strange squiggly lines or straight, short lines like Harold did when he made grass. So I can't wait to hear about what you might draw and have fun. Bye.